Welcome to another Q&A episode on the channel. It has been a while since I have said that. It has been a while since the last Q&A episode on the channel. It is probably dating back to before E3. That was probably when I did do my last Q&A episode. I was not planning to take a break from this series. It's just that you had E3, you had the Octo expansion come out, and I was watching the World Cup as well. So haven't really had the time to do another Q&A episode, and it's just worked out nice that I hit 20,000 subscribers, and I thought, you know what, it is about time that I did bring back this Q&A series. So it has worked out quite nicely for the channel in terms of quick small updates before I do get into the main video and start answering questions. My Switch Online Service membership giveaway will be announced soon. I will be giving out the details when we do know when the service does launch. That will be coming soon. And my brand new series, I think it will probably come out in October now. I think September will be a busy month in terms of news updates, like news roundups for me to cover, as well as making videos covering the Switch Online service launching and looking at what it does for Splatoon 2, if it does do anything at all. So I think September will be quite busy, so I don't think I will have time to edit that first episode in my new series. So I think that will be coming out in October now. Apologies for picking up this series and it not coming out soon. I don't really want to give this series the big build up, just because I'm a little bit worried that it will fall a little bit flat in terms of everybody's expectations if I do keep on mentioning this new series. So yeah, the brand new series will be coming out in sometime in October, when I do have time to sit down and edit the first episode. It will probably take me around about a week to edit the first episode. So anyway, let's just get on with this Q&A episode. If you want to get involved with this series, then all what you need to do is leave your question in the comment section of this video, and hopefully in the next episode, whenever that will be. I hope to do this series weekly, but I might not have time to do that, unfortunately. It's like this video was supposed to come out last week, but unfortunately I didn't have the time to make this video last week. So yeah, this series, I hope to do it like a weekly series, but it might be like a bi-weekly series, so it will come out every 2 weeks. But let's just answer the first question of this video, and that comes in from Agent Music Tunes. I have a hefty question for you. When you first heard of Splatoon, what did you think about it? Did you think it was a game that only a few people would play, or something people would get used to over time? That is a really good question to finally kick off this Q&A episode. So I can remember seeing the very moment that Splatoon was first revealed by Nintendo. It was at E3 2014, and I can remember seeing the reveal trailer. I can remember seeing the ink first getting splattered around on the white background, and I thought it was a sequel to a game called The Blob, just because The Blob was sort of about shooting a load of paint around, I do believe. I thought it was a sequel to The Blob, but then you saw the squid, and then you saw the inkling for the first time, and it's shooting like a sort of paint at a opponent, and it was an inkling boy in blue. And from that moment I thought, wow, this looks really interesting, and the reveal trailer kicked on and we got to see some gameplay in there, and from that moment I was captured. I was really enjoying what this new game was, just because Nintendo didn't really have a shooter of its own. And I had been saying for years previously that Nintendo should create their own shooter, and lo and behold, they finally did. And at E3 2014, we finally got to see their own version of a shooter, and I just fell in love with the game there and then. And then they did like a developer interview with Nogame, Sakaguchi, and I do believe there was another person there. And yeah, it's just, I've got very strong memories from that E3, even though it was like 4 years ago. That was the very first time we saw them do Treehouse live, and we got to see them play games for the first time. So I made sure to watch every single Splatoon segment, just because it was the game that I was most excited about. And I can't remember being that excited for a new game for a long time like before that. Seriously, I was just so excited. I was so looking forward to that game. Seriously, Splatoon, it captured me from the very first moment I knew it was a shooter. I am a massive fan of shooters, and yeah, that game, it really did capture me from the very first moment I saw Splatoon in that E3 trailer. In terms of like when I knew that a lot of people would play it, it did get a massive reaction at E3 2014, just because it was a new IP from Nintendo, which is something that you don't really see that often. I know you got the Wii series, you got the Wii Play, Wii Sports, Wii Music, Wii Fit. That was like the last time that Nintendo did like a new IP and a new series. I know some people would go back a little bit further than that and say that the last IP, the last proper IP, was something like Pikmin or Animal Crossing. So it did get a big reaction at that E3. So I thought, you know what, this game, it does have a chance of doing well. But it wasn't until I finally got to play the game, when we did get a global test file in May 2015, that I knew that I really did enjoy the game. And I thought, you know what, this game does have a chance of selling really well. I didn't think this game would do well in Japan, or as well in Japan. I am really surprised at how the Japanese audience has took the Splatoon series to their hearts. But yeah, I just fell in love with the game from the very first moment I saw it at E3 2014, and I'm really glad I'm still making videos talking about the game, and I'm hosting open lobbies and playing people like in those open lobbies. I did host open lobbies on the Wii U version, and I'm really glad that that sort of tradition made its way over to the second game, and I am now playing with more people than what I did before. So yeah, I'm really glad that this series has took off. I'm really glad about that. Hey Snorf, is it me, or does Pearl yell Splatoon when you first start up the game in a Splatfest? And that question comes in from Rax Trax's Nightcore. And yeah, I have noticed that as well, but I wasn't sure whether I was just hearing things like yourself, but it definitely does sound like Pearl is yelling Splatoon when you first start up the game during a Splatfest. Akar Ahmed, apologies if I have pronounced your name wrong, but they have asked the next question for the Q&A episode. Their question is, what do you think the Splatoon 3 story mode will be? Now, I think there will be a focus on Salmonids and the relationship between Salmonids and Inklings and Octolings. We still kind of don't know how Salmon Run sort of fits into the lore of the game. We don't know what happens to the golden eggs when we do collect them for Mr. Grizz. I definitely do feel like there is potential there for Splatoon 3 to explore who Mr. Grizz is and what he does with the golden eggs as well. I thought they would have done that in the Octo expansion. That is just a theory that I did go with for the longest time. So I think they will explore that in the third game. Who knows whether they will sort of break up off the hook. There is potential there for them to do that, like what I did mention in a previous video. But I am just going with the focus of the story for the third game. I think it will be a focus on Salmon Run, Salmonids, and relationship between Inklings, Octolings, and Salmonids. And I think we will get to know who Mr. Grizz is and what he does with the golden eggs. The next question comes in from Lavender. Do you have any experience with esports, and if so, what experience? Now, I'm just going to be honest and say that I don't have any experience of esports at all. The only thing that comes close is that I did play a little bit of Call of Duty like on the PC in a LAN sort of scenario, and Unreal Tournament as well. Apart from that, that is like the closest thing I have got to esports. I did play a little bit in the competitive mode on CSGO with a couple of friends at one point, but that is like the closest thing I have got to esports. And I guess that last example is sort of just me doing ranked mode in Splatoon 2 and Splatoon. So yeah, I don't have any experience of esports, and to be honest with you, I'm just not good enough at games to compete at a high level. I would just be a letdown for my team if I did compete at an esport level. I definitely do have a lot of respect for like the professionals playing Splatoon 2. Really do have a lot of respect for those guys, just because they are so good at the game. They are so dedicated to the game. They have to practice all of the time. They have to go into private battles and do scrims all of the time. So yeah, definitely do have a lot of respect for all of like the people that you do see on YouTube, like Dude and like people like that as well. So yeah, got a lot of respect for the pros, but I don't have any experience of that. And yeah, I don't think I will ever have, to be honest with you. I just don't think I will be ever good enough to compete at a high level. I always struggle when I do come up against rank X players in my open lobbies. So yeah, I just don't think I will be ever good enough to compete at a higher level. That is definitely the goal though. I definitely do want to improve my play style, but it just means that I would have to sort of stop making videos most of the time and spend that time like playing the game pretty much. And I rather have a balance where I make videos talking about the game and also I play the game at the same time as well. So yeah, that is a pretty lengthy answer to your question. The next question comes in from Carol the Inkling, and their question is, what is your favourite video game of all time? And that is a really tough question to answer. I would say that Pokemon Gold is up there. Hogs of War, which is a PS1 game. It is sort of like Worms, but in 3D. Really did enjoy that game on the PS1. I really did enjoy Toy Story Racer on the PS1 as well. It is pretty much a Mario Kart ripoff, but that was the very first console game that I played, so it has to be up there. And I would say Breath of the Wild as well. Really did enjoy playing that. And of course, Splatoon 2 is up there. I would say that Time Splitters 1, Time Splitters 2 is up there. I'm really pleased that THQ Nordic has bought the rights to Time Splitters from Crytek. Really am chuffed to say that has finally happened. It has been a long while since Crytek had the rights to Time Splitters and they did nothing with it. But in terms of answering the question, I honestly don't know. I've got to say Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the PS2. That is definitely a contender, as well as LMA Manager 2007, which is just a strategy game where you manage soccer clubs or football clubs wherever you are in the world, whatever you pronounce it as. But yeah, it is out of those games, and to be honest with you, I just can't pick. I really can't pick. I love those games for different reasons, and to be honest with you, it would be different depending on what day you ask me. So today I could say Hogs of War, tomorrow I could say Pokemon Gold. I absolutely love Pokemon Gold, I really do. So yeah, it's just hard for me to choose between all of those games that I did mention. So they're just my favourite games of all time, and yeah, it's just hard for me to pick. It really is, just because I have spent a lot of time playing those games, and I really did enjoy playing all of those games. And of course with Splatoon 2 I'm still playing that game, so it's really hard for me to choose, and I'm just going to cop out and sit on the fence on this one and say that I can't pick. I really can't, and I must apologise for that. I really must apologise for not answering your question. It's just that, like what I said, what answer I do give today, it would be like different like whenever I do think about it next. So I could come up with a completely different answer as soon as I do press that stop button on this video. So they're just my favourite games of all time, and let me know some of the favourite games of all time that you have in the comment section below. XX Silver Falcon XX has asked the next question, and that question is, what other games do you play other than Splatoon 2? And right now I am currently addicted to FM Touch 2018, which is just like LMA Manager. It is a strategy game where you do manage a football club of your choosing. So you could manage Barcelona if you wanted to, Real Madrid, Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal. I always go for my club, Leicester City, and yeah, I am really addicted to that game. It did come out around about March, April time for the Switch, and I did play it for a little bit, but then I went back to playing Splatoon 2 mostly to capture gameplays for the channel so that you guys could have something to watch in the background. And with the World Cup, I didn't really feel like playing FM Touch, but I've recently got back into that game. I have bought Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in July, and I have played a little bit of that. It's just that I'm kind of a little bit not motivated to play the game somewhat, just because I did play the game on the Wii U, but I definitely want to complete every single cup with the Inkling and play on the battle mode as well as online as well. So yeah, I'm playing Paladins as well, which is a free-to-play title. I have put in around about 30 hours into Paladins since it did go free-to-play. And of course, I do play a little bit of Fortnite here and there. I'm not really that good at the game. Having said that, I did get third place after not playing the game for like 3 weeks. I did get like 6 kills, and that is like the best I've ever done on Fortnite. But I've only really put in around about 30 to 40 hours into Fortnite across the PS4 version and the Switch version. I don't really play the game on a regular basis. Whenever I do play the game with you guys always have to carry me. I am always the weakest member of the squad. So yeah, I do play a little bit of Fortnite. I'm just trying to think of other games that I do play. I do play a little bit of Pokemon Quest as well. I only really do play that when I do upload a video and I want to play a game. I don't really like to play games when I do upload a video, just because I do lag whenever I do play games online, and it does slow the upload as well from uploading. So I always try and play games that don't require an internet connection when I do upload a video. So that is why I do play Pokemon Quest and FM Touch as well. I was playing that when I did upload a recent news roundup video that did take me quite a while to upload. So there are just some of the games that I am playing right now, but I want to get back into Payday 2, Doom. They're just the two games that I've got, and I really want to get back into them. So yeah, I do play quite a lot of games outside of Splatoon 2, but mostly I do play Splatoon 2. That is like my main focus at this moment in time. Now, I am just going to call you QWERTY just because I don't know how to pronounce the last sort of sign. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, but your question is, where do you get all of your info on Splatoon leaks and data mines? I pretty much get all of that information from a data miner called Oatmeal Dome. He pretty much tweets out this information on Twitter, and I will leave a link to their Twitter account in the description for you to check out. The next question comes in from Lucifer, and you do have an upside down question mark at the end of your name. What was your favourite Splatfest theme so far? It doesn't matter if it is a European, American or Japanese Splatfest, and I would say that it is the Inkling versus Octoling Splatfest. That definitely did generate a lot of interest in the community, and I really did enjoy that aspect of not only that Splatfest, but I just enjoyed the question. That was one of the Splatfest that I wanted to see before they did end Splatfest, and I'm really glad that they did it really soon after when we got the Octo expansion DLC, and it sort of worked out to be like a promo for the DLC as well. So it was quite smart how on the Octoling side you could play as an Octoling, but I think that did contribute to the Octolings losing in that Splatfest. I think because a lot of people didn't have the DLC, a lot of people went with Octolings to play as the Octoling. Of course it is the Squid versus Octopus Splatfest, but it is pretty much the Inkling versus Octoling Splatfest. That is what I like to call it. But yeah, the Squid versus Octopus Splatfest is my favourite Splatfest so far. Before that, I would have said the chicken versus the egg one, but yeah, I really did enjoy the Inkling versus Octoling Splatfest just because it was a topic that I did really care about. Some of the other topics, like the spoon versus fork Splatfest, I know that was an American Splatfest, but I didn't really care about that Splatfest. I didn't really see that as a topic where I really cared about the outcome. I just didn't really care about that topic, as well as some of the other topics that we have had in Europe and America as well. So yeah, I'm hoping that Nintendo will do a Splatfest where you do have all of the girls going up against each other. That would be really cool to see. So yeah, the Squid versus Octopus Splatfest is my favourite one so far, and hopefully we will continue to get topics where the community does care about them. I'm kind of thinking that maybe they could do what is your favourite weapon, the Splatshot or the Splatshot Junior. They could do topics where it is based on the lore of the game as well. So I don't know, maybe they could do what is your favourite sort of character, Judd or Lil Judd. Maybe they could do Spike versus Merch. Maybe they could do more topics themed around the game itself, and that would be really cool to see. The next question of this Q&A episode comes in from Agent 8 Drew. Congrats on 20k. Thank you very much for that comment. And also, when do you think we will get new hairstyles for Inklings and Octolings? And I think that could happen really soon. I think it could be with the 4.0 update, which I think could be coming later on this week. I'm not sure when this video will be posted, but yeah, I think the 4.0 update, I think that is when we could get new hairstyles for the Octolings. I'm not sure about the Inklings, just because we have got a lot of hairstyles for the Inklings already. It has been quite a while since the Octo expansion did come out, so I think now is the time, like it is the perfect time to bring out new Octoling hairstyles, and I definitely do feel like the Octoling boy could definitely do with better hairstyles. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of the Afro hairstyle and the Mohican style as well. So yeah, I definitely feel like we are due for new Octoling boy hairstyles. So yeah, I think it could be coming really soon, but I definitely think it will be coming between now and December. I know this is one of the things that the community wants to know about the most, and I think we will know when we will get new Octoling hairstyles in the next direct. And yeah, that sort of prospect definitely has got me excited. And yeah, I definitely would be excited if we finally got new Octoling hairstyles this week. That would definitely make me really hyped. And the last question for the video comes in from Dade Wayas Siok, and apologies if I did pronounce your name wrong, and I probably did. Really am terrible at pronouncing names, as you can see throughout the whole video. But their question is, will you just do news roundup videos, or will you just play Splatoon 2? Also, when Starfish main stage comes back, can you do a comparison video? And that is definitely the plan. I have done comparison videos ever since the game did come out, and that will not be changing in terms of when we do get the renovated Starfish main stage. I have prepared for that video, and I am just waiting for that stage to come back before I do make that video, obviously. But I will be doing more comparison videos when we do get returning stages from the first game as well. In terms of me doing other videos outside of my news roundup videos, I think I will mostly do news roundup videos just because a lot of people like to watch them videos, and I like to make them as well. And that is pretty much all what I have time for when there is a lot of news dropping. So I will just pretty much do news roundup videos, but I'm kind of thinking that maybe when we do get a brand new stage, kind of like what I did with Wahoo World, but what I might do is when we do get a brand new stage is record me playing on that new stage for like 10-15 minutes, and it is pretty much me playing the game and you hearing my reactions to what is happening on screen. I am pretty much playing the game and recording my reactions as I do play the game. That is one aspect that I want to do when we don't really get so much news. My new series will be sort of different from my news roundup videos as well. Really, I'm looking forward to making that series. Pretty much it will just be news roundup videos just because that is what I have time for at the moment. But I definitely want to move into, of course, news will not be as often, especially when updates will not be happening like after December. So the channel will transition from doing news roundup videos like all of the time, like sometimes daily, often 3 or 4 times a week. The channel will go through a transition phase when updates do stop. So that is when I probably will move into just playing Splatoon 2 and making videos based on that. So you hearing my reactions as I do play the game, and that is why I am making my brand new series as well. I am planning for the future for the channel so that you guys can still see Splatoon 2 content on the channel despite or if news for the game does stop. Say like if the updates do stop in December, that is why I am planning my new series to come before then, so that it is sort of like a transition phase where you still get to see some sort of Splatoon 2 content from myself. It may not be in the news roundup videos when the news does stop, but yeah, I definitely want to carry on making videos for one of my favourite games of all time. So that is all what I have time for this video. And yeah, this video is a really long one, really must apologise about that. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of me making long videos, and I must apologise about that. But yeah, it's just that with this Q&A episode, I do have a lot of stuff to say. Now, if I didn't get to your question in this episode, then I will try and answer it in the next episode. But yeah, leave your questions in the comment section below. That is it for the video, and yeah, we'll see you in the next Q&A episode, whenever that will be. So that is it for the video, and I will see you in the next one. By the way, before I do go, I'd just like to thank everybody that did congratulate me on hitting 20,000 subscribers. I'd just like to thank everybody that did leave questions for this Q&A episode as well. But that is it for the video, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one, hopefully.